Cafe Rise. We've got Rob Gregg here and Josh Jones talking about Infinity Rising, the game we are building that is beautiful, amazing. We've got an awesome community. We talk about this game and what we're developing each week and what we're working on. And this is our way of just staying alive with you guys, our community, and bringing you into what we're doing. If it's new to you, then please like and subscribe and follow us. Check us out because it's a lot of fun. So this episode, we are going to talk a little bit about Quest terminals, a couple new games that we're bringing in, mini games to the mix, some nodes announcements, updates, a server announcement, the apartments and where we're at with the apartment status, and some more. So some marketing stuff as well. We got a lot of good topics for you. Oh, well, don't let me forget a big sale announcement. And when I say that, it's exciting to me because of how we're coupling it with what it's for. Which
for
is
a boat,
huh?
For a boat, because it's a big sale.
Oh boy. We're coupling it with it's a very strategic move, as was some of the last sales even, but this one is more directed towards our move towards a mainstream alpha launch. And so more on that soon. Before I get too far along, Rob, what are you drinking today?
Well, I wish I was drinking some kind of energy drink because I've been some long days, but I'm going for water because apparently that's pretty good as well. I've just noticed
Evian spelled backwards is naive, which is kind of funny.
Is it not water then? Is it actually an energy drink?
It's definitely not an energy drink. Cheers.
I've just noticed you've got a football top on. It is a football top, isn't it?
You did. Good. Nice catch. Wait, I remember, so you know that just from
well,
this?
I bought it. I bought that top
That's right.
When I was over.
Yeah, I forgot. Yes, I do. I have an Austin FC shirt on. I'm surprised you noticed, though. Good memory.
I've noticed about everywhere I travel, that's non-UK, non-England really. Could be any country. I try and bring back a football top from that country.
Nice. Good.
Or that state, as it turns out, there's quite a few states. So I've got like a Vegas one, Vegas Knights. Is that soccer? I don't know, but I got a Vegas Knights top. It might be ice hockey. I don't know. But I got a short from there. Anyway, what did you say you were drinking? I missed that.
All good. Diet Dr. Pepper. I'm drinking one of my Vice drinks. I know it's not healthy for me, but that being said,
Vice.
It's been one of those kind of weeks in a variety of things with the work challenges, life challenges, and community challenges. So sometimes I'll just resort to, hey, what's the thing that I want? And I don't drink alcohol anymore. So my vices now are like Diet Dr. Pepper and the occasional cigar.
You're going to overdose on Diet Dr. Pepper.
Caffeine. All right. Hey, so we got a fun episode ahead for you guys. Let's get into it. Lots of good stuff in development, in parallel with the game. Something Motor Club. Gotcha. A lot of good stuff happening with the game, and Rob, I think you'll give us some good context on what's happening. But why don't we just kick it off with the Quest terminals on the maps?
Yeah, we've added some Quest terminals now to Kalido. So Kalido City has, I think it's got 3 in there. We've added a terminal into the pavilion. The nice little orangey buildings from a company called, what do we call them? We call them Civic Works. Civic Works. That's where you'll be able to go and start quests. It's always worth popping in and seeing if you can interact with them, because certain quests start when you've done other quests, and certain quests will start when you reach a certain season level. So, for example, when you finished the onboarding, go to that quest place, and a few quests will pop up that are only triggered by you completing that. So those will be in there. There's also one in every single town within all the solaces. So lots of places to start quests from it.
Which to me, this is important for community to know and the gamers to know. As we build out a system like questing, that's a system. There's a process involved that enables us to then take that process and scale it throughout the game. So not only do we bring you a variety of different questing types and what you're being quested to do, what the quest may be, there's also terminals that make the town more interactive and more engaging. And so it's just adding value in a variety of ways. And I think it's important. So when we build systems, they allow us to scale throughout our massive, massive world, which just adds so much more value. And I love it. And then you take a system along with another system, and you have that exponential complexity because you're layering different things on top of one another in a way that really works well. So exponential value increase.
That's right. I mean, the quest system is actually quite complicated under the hood because it works across different levels, which is actually quite tricky because some quests are available on some levels and not on the other. We will have quests that start in one level and then you'll have to go through to another level, then come back. So, for example, we might want you to go and craft something. So you might have to go into Solace, go into the gathering fields, gather some items, then go and craft them at a bench somewhere, maybe in a town or maybe back in Kalido or maybe at your apartment, and then you have to come back and maybe sell the final item maybe back in the city. So those are quite complex because they take into account not only the quest system, the level that you're on as your player season level. They also take into account what's in your inventory, what you're allowed to do. There'll be some things that we're introducing perks in the next build as well. So you'll only be able to craft if you've got a certain perk, which we will explain when we have a leak on that later on in another show. But yeah, they're all tying together and they're all being built on top of each other. So even when you do anything, let's say you shoot something, by triggering that the death of whatever that object is, it could be a target, it could be a creature, could be anything, that will then interact with the player, which interacts with the quest system that goes out. There's lots of things happening within milliseconds of actions. It's a bit crazy. Right? It's a nightmare to debug.
Amazing stuff, and I realize that the systems and the complexity in dev work, you're just learning more and more over time. It's just so different than just regular software development. There's so much more complexity.
Yeah, I mean, in the early days when you had kind of like
world,
Yeah, I mean, in the early days when you had kind of like just procedural, like maybe COBOL, you ran something and then it ran something else, and it was all kind of very linear. And then you had maybe kind of like object orientated, where it was kind of all over the place. That was almost like 2D or even 3D programming for me. It was a little bit crazy. But this game thing where you got events firing off all over the place, but not just events on players and on actors and all over
the world, that's going back and forth.
Yeah.
So events firing by multiple parties that are causing triggers that are back and forth, and the complexity just ends up.
And you only want some things to run on the clients and some things only on the server, and you got to do all that check-in, and then honestly, it's
and then you're building on an engine that is just massive. It's the most massive gaming engine in the world. However, it's got its own little issues, and you're mid-dev on something and it shuts down, like you told me, or it freezes, or and then this is like every dev's pet peeve. But okay, so let's move on. So we got the shooting. We got some new game loops. Why don't you talk us through Shooting Alley and Crazy Taxi?
Yeah, actually, we the Shooting Alley. Is my camera going blurred? Yeah. I don't know what's going on there.
It appears to be.
I think it's got J.J. Abrams is putting like the layers flens behind me. So actually, we could probably do an early leak on the Shooting Alley, because it's something that we showed a few weeks ago in the watch party. This is just a little fun game where there's a couple of alleys, couple of weapons shops, merchant shops in the global map, and the global map is where your apartments are. And in the basement, there is a little shooting alley. So we put a little gaming experience in there, and let me share that, I think. Okay, so this is an early leak. So as you see there, we've got 3 different options. You've got easy, hard, and you've got impossible with a question mark. And yeah, the idea of this is you're against the clock, and every time you shoot a target, you get an extra second or so.
Have you had a successful completion yet? Well, don't be honest then. Just go ahead and lie.
Well, I mean, when I set the amount to shoot to 1, then I succeed a lot more than I do when it's at 10. Okay. So we have a nice little quest giver here now. It's just a little marker. Yeah. You interact with it. There we go. Yeah. Easy, hard, or impossible. Yeah, I've not managed to get past the easy bit yet.
Easy is impossible for you.
It's quite easy, but I'm struggling with the fingers.
This is fun, you know, and by the way, if you are watching this for the first time and you want to see stuff like this earlier, sometimes we show this in our watch parties. So for example, that some of you have already seen this. We have watch parties in our Discord. So, you know, if you're checking us out for the first time, go get involved with our Discord. We have a very welcoming community. They'll show you around. Yeah, it's just, it's fun. So, we have watch parties where we'll watch this together, and then we do kind of an AMA with the community afterwards, and just engage with everybody that's a part of what we're doing, because we value the people just as much as we value what we're building. It's like, this is all fun. We get to participate together. So yeah, thanks for showing that. Honestly, I hate to admit it, but I haven't done the shooting alley yet, and it's just because I had to resolve that glitch with Greg. Well, we finally resolved it, but I haven't.
Oh, you got the build now. It'll be in the next internal build.
Well, I'm good. I'm good now to download from staging, but it's, yeah. Anyway, okay, so that's a new little game that's going to be in what we're doing. But there's also
that's a repeatable task as well. So some quests you go in and you can only do them kind of once. Whereas that one you can keep repeating it. So it's a little bit of fun. But also, when you see there was an easy, a hard, and an impossible level, the hard and the impossible level is driven by your player level. So you need to go out and you know, do other quests and do other tasks within the game to get that season level up. It's not a player level as such. It's kind of like a season level. The game will be in seasons. Qualify. Yeah, and then you will unlock the hard level, and then you do some more stuff in the game, get some more XP, and then you'll have a go at the impossible. And I would like to I'd like to think that some people will be able to do the impossible, and I'm not saying there'll be a prize, but I'm sure whenever somebody does that impossible the first time, they'll get some good kudos off the community.
Yeah, agreed. I don't know what just made, so these mini games, it made me think of, so I've been kind of like making up games with friends for my whole life. And there's one that me and a buddy made up in high school. It was called the freeze game.
Freeze game?
Ooh. Yeah. You just walk up to somebody, and if you're in the game, if you've been initiated, and this was a big part of it, if you're initiated into the game, then you have the freeze power, which is you go up to somebody with your finger, touch them, and you go whoosh. And if you do that, if I did that to you, you have to freeze. No matter what you're doing, you have to stop until I unfreeze you. And then you're unfrozen. And if you break the rules, you get kicked out and you can't play anymore until you get reinitiated. And so we had these fun initiations. It ended up taking off. It got some like viral kind of deal for you know, high school that didn't really have much of an internet at that time, because I'm old. But it kind of went viral, and we ended up having like 150 people playing the game at one point. And we had like 26 people jogging through a neighborhood in their boxers, skibbies late at night, just like to get initiated. And then we did fun stuff. Anyway, I derail. I digress. I love making games.
We might have something like
is exciting to us. We love.
We might have something like that in game.
A creative way for people to engage and have fun. Sorry, let me finish. But go ahead.
Like I say, I mean, we might have something like that in game already. We call it lag.
Lag, the freeze, unintentional freeze game. Um, okay, so good stuff. Well, let's get into the crazy taxi because that's actually
Crazy
a
tech.
proven. It's proven in a variety of ways that that's going to add significant value in our game. So go for it.
Yeah, so I mean, I can give you some insight into another game and maybe the thought pattern behind it. So, in building the shooting alley, that was built up with layers. We turned what was a static shooting zone into things moving, and then that was inspired we tried to make that more fun by having these doors that open and close, and then the final thing we did was added some kind of like music to it, and and since then, just for a bit of background, I've been listening to a lot of Offspring, which were, some good tunes back in the days of Crazy Taxi. But then David wanted this, has always wanted this idea of kind of like a delivery quest. But an interesting delivery quest. It's one of the common quests that you can do. Go and get something and deliver it to people. But obviously, we wanted to put a bit of a spin on it. So what we're currently working on, I don't know if it'll be in the next build or not, but it's definitely something that we're working on, is a delivery quest where this will probably start in the burger barn. So I know people like to because we're in the bear market and Charles has shared his McDonald's hat and stuff like that. So if you fancy yourself as a delivery driver, it was inspired by that. It was inspired by Ant back in when he was a teenager. He used to drive his Toyota Celica and deliver pizzas. So the idea is similar to it was also kind of inspired by Crazy Taxi. We wanted to start off, we wanted something against the clock where you go and deliver these items, but unlike kind of Crazy Taxi where you kind of pick up, drop off, pick up, drop off, pick up, drop off, this is more like I say, more like a pizza delivery or a burger delivery or a DoorDash, I think you call it in America, where you get the order and then you drop it off and then you drop off and drop off and drop off. There's no kind of coming back to base. So that's the idea. You get an order which may be for 4 to 10 different places, and it's against the clock, and the locations will come on the screen. You got to drop one off and then go to the next one and go to the next one. And if you do that in time, then you obviously finish that experience. But in doing that, we kind of had a challenge of, well, how do we show on the screen maybe 10 different locations where you've got to go to at the same time without using up loads of the real estate where you've got to go here, 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 and all that kind of stuff. And so, and what we actually found as a solution is, and it's quite a popular mechanic in some games, is we kind of got like a little indicator on the screen which will show the 10 different locations and how far you are from them. And the trick with this is these indicators have to snap to the end of the screen. So if you're looking one way, you know you've got to go left or right, and it's something that we'll show you. But the reason I'm going on about this is because that was such a useful indicator. And it complements the compass really, really well. And you don't need to kind of look away and open the map and stuff like that. We're actually going to adopt it as one of the core quality of life systems within the game. So for example, where we really needed this is when you have your apartment, you will be in an apartment block somewhere. And then when there's literally hundreds of these apartment blocks, but you'll need to not only know which apartment block you need to go to, but then you'll also need to know the floor you need to go to. And that, if you've just got a compass, is actually quite tricky to do, or a map, whereas this new pointer will take you directly there. So it's a long-winded way of saying we've got a new game loop that we're working on, which is like a DoorDash, but it's also introduced really, really important game functionality.
Yeah, yeah. It's again, this is a system on top of a system, even because it can be incorporated with quests or whatever, but it's a system that allows for, transport, delivery, all sorts of new functionality. And the way we vision casted it, like what I brought up the other day. What if a player wants to request something from another player? Eventually, that's something that we can do. Where I could be in game and say, "Hey, I really need X, Y, Z. I'll give you, X amount for it," and somebody could deliver it for them. That sort of thing.
A personal quest, yeah,
Yeah.
they will definitely come. Yep.
Which can be a lot of fun, but that's not how we're starting off. Either way, when can people expect Shooting Alley and Crazy Taxi?
Well, the Shooting Alley should be
when?
in the next public build. The delivery challenge may be in the next build. I don't know. This is something that once we build, we're building a prototype at the moment. It's almost complete. Just got to work on the randomization of places, just so you don't have to keep delivering to the same places. And then obviously it has to pass QA and get through David's approval. But I mean, maybe in the next build. If not, it should be in the following one.
Cool. Alrighty. So Hot Zone version 2.
Yes, that's coming in. That's definitely coming in the next build. That we had some issues with that. It was crashing the game, really, really bad, like you do with some of the timers. Like I say, they were misaligned. Multiplayer game program is really, really difficult. Like I say, with the amount of things that fire, but we fixed that. So that will be coming in Solace 2, and so we're going to get some feedback in Solace 2 because it's quite complex to set up. We're going to remove hot zones from Solace 1 and Solace 3 temporarily. So if you want to play this, it'll be in Solace 2. There's now 3 hot zones, and in between each hot zone, you have to go and land on a platform and claim it for your team. So it's still red versus blue. So that will be coming in the next build, and I think that'll be pretty good. It's a great upgrade from the original hot zone game, and you can use your jetpacks now and your guns. So that will make playing very, very interesting.
Yes, I love it. And for anybody new, there's, we've talked a little bit about mini games. I want to retitle that and repurpose that because in a lot of ways, they're a lot more than just a mini game. So I want to rebrand that. We just haven't done it yet. But one of the coolest things about that is that almost, if you're new, we have core game loops that are being developed that are very well known. Crafting. Crafting is going to over 400 recipes, as we've mentioned. Questing, that's a core game loop. Combat, Rift Combat is another core game loop. We have core game loops that are in development, in parallel, on the way. I would say that mini games are somewhat like a core game loop because they're thematically around the game. They just have massive variety and a massive way for us to add value and something interesting. You may be into it, you may not be into it, but a shooting alley is somewhat like a little mini game that you can go jump into real quick, do something fun, super easy.
I just call them mini experiences. I mean, it's not even a side quest.
It's just something that we could brand in a cool way for each one, probably.
Yeah.
But the point being is it adds a ton of value and they're easy to execute for us because we already have all of the other elements and all of the other core systems in place. We're just adding something that's a small, so it becomes very scalable is what I'm getting at.
It's like Rumble Ball, that Rumble Balls is an example of a multiplayer one where you can just all go and chill, and the delivery is a single player for now, but maybe in the future we'll make that multiplayer. But all these systems, as I just explained, some little nuggets come out of them. The timing comes out of them. Some of the navigation comes into them, and they've all got an eye and a nod to the custom dome functionality because that's what the custom domes will be all about. You creating your own little games, your little game experiences. So that's where they're all coming out of. So if you want plans of making a DoorDash or maybe even an Uber delivery mini game in your custom dome in the future, well, this is where it starts.
Yep. Did you talk about the ore gathering and smelting?
Nope. I've not spoken
because
about
we
that
did
yet.
cover questing, and is that on the way as a particular quest?
Yeah, so we have we're working on a couple of quests at the moment. We're working on which order did I put them in? So we'll start off with the main one. The main one is a relic quest. So this is actually part of the lore. So we're building some lore around this. So the idea is some ship or ships, I'm not too sure on that, has crash landed somewhere in Solace, and it's shed a load of cargo. So players will go around all these different crash sites, and the artwork for these crash sites looks really, really good. And then look for the first of all, look for the crash sites, and then look for these ancient relics, or maybe relics from the earth, something to do with the lore. You will start off in the antique shop. That's where the quest giver will be. You'll go and find them, and then you'll sell the items back to the antique shop. So that's the main one. Another quest that we're working on is kind of like a crafting quest. No, sorry, it's a town. What did we call it? I can't remember what we call it. It's kind of like a town foundation quest. So the idea is you'll start in the town.
The crafting bench.
You'll end up there, but you'll go and get some ore. So you'll go and get some ore, maybe in a mine. You'll then take that ore to one of the ore processors, which are outside each of the mines. It's these big buildings that we pass by. They're now going to be interactive. From there, you will smelt that ore into raw ore, and you will then take that raw ore to a crafting bench. You will need a perk for this, so you get one perk point every time that you level up in the season, and later on you'll be able to convert those into different kind of skills. And then you will, so that raw ore that you've smelted from the gathered ore, you'll then craft that into an ingot. There'll be two. I think there's an iron ingot and a copper ingot, and you may have different crafting benches for that. I'm not quite sure. It might be the same one. Mm-hmm. And then you'll be able to sell them to the shop. And this is another one of these crafting loops that via the quest system will show you the recipe. So it'll show you the recipe, how to make these ingots, how to do it. And then you'll be able to go and craft as many of those as you want.
But, so again, a system on a system.
Yeah, it's part of the onboarding. But we have over 400 different recipes now for you to for you to go and discover. So we'll share some of them via crafting.
Over 400. So that again is to emphasize the point of scalability. The system was developed, and now there's over 400 recipes on the way.
It is crazy, and some of them are quite complex,
which is fun. And
yeah,
I know that everybody's craving Josh tacos after how I explained that a few weeks ago, because clearly that is a mouth-watering delicacy. But okay, you've got new stuff as well on the Relic Quest, and that's on the way, correct?
Yeah. We just
so the Relic Quest originally, just let me give some context for it. You were talking to me about the questing system, and then we started kind of ideating on how do we get something that's a little bit more community interactive. We can empower another community, maybe from Cardano, to get in the game and do something fun and have collaborative kind of questing challenges. And so we ended up coming up with this really awesome idea that the Relic Quest was about originally. Now that's on the way, and we'll have that technology to do when the time is right. Ideally, the market is in a bit more of an exciting kind of place before we launch that, so that the communities are more active. And,
you mean partners? Yeah, it was going to start off as a partner quest.
So partner quest. What we were going to do. Thank you for that. We were going to go to World Mobile, different projects on Cardano, maybe Snack, Hosky. Some of our fun groups that we like to do things with. A book or stuff. I talked to them about it. We already got several of them that are ready to go. In reality, we want to wait until people are a little more energized. So we're going to delay the fervor there. But, the idea is great. You want to tell us what the Relic Quest is?
Yeah, we've just gone through that. We went through
You,
that at the start.
oh, you covered the relic quest. Sorry.
Yeah, but
Okay.
it was nice that you leaked some projects in there.
Yeah, well, there's more than that that are going to come
Mm.
and be involved.
Yep.
The idea is that we get communities that are aligned with us initially on the Cardano side of things, engaged with our project in a new way, so that they know how far we've come along, and they know that whoa, wow, this really is a real game. And so we were going to start with Cardano, but this is not limited to Cardano by any means. We're going to go to other groups as well. So, for example, the base community, Meta, and some of their things.
Yeah,
Meta,
because what we have is part of obviously a bigger strategy of including partners. So although it looks on the surface like you just go in game and you just do something, what we're actually doing is we're collecting the metrics on that. We will have a dashboard for the individual projects. If they then want to give some of their own rewards, maybe their own token or maybe their own NFT or anything they want to, the system will send a notification to them that people have completed their quests, and they may be doing an airdrop or whatever. So yeah, it's a really important system that will help us to onboard more players in the future, and it's ready to go.
yeah, love it.
We will.
Okay, sorry, I was a little distracted. I missed the relic part. To be honest, I'm also watching. There's a lot of community engagement around a certain thing that's been occurring lately with us, and I've kind of had a little bit of an eye on that as well. And I'll talk about it real quick. So we did some videos for TikTok that we were testing kind of a new messaging and a new content direction. The reality is, I think that what we needed to do was visit and meet on that a little bit more before we just hit the ground running. That being said, it's a very small market for us because we don't have any followers there. We're building a new channel. However, we're going to take a slightly new approach for sure in how that goes. But the point here is really like it got some people fired up, and there's some controversy about it. In reality, I like that sort of thing. What I mean by that is I like it when our community chimes up, gets fired up about something, because it's an opportunity for us. I think it's one of our biggest advantages. We, as a Web3 game over a mainstream game that's out there, that builds in the dark and doesn't have a community, we have a community building with us. And so we get to hear opinions and feedback and all sorts of stuff. And now, granted, we still have a vision that we're sticking to, but it's always good to hear and utilize collective intelligence and take a new look at things. And so we utilize feedback from the community, and that makes us more powerful as a whole. I'm not going to get into the details of the discussion, but what it does do is it enables us, wow, okay, if it's that loud, we need to take a look at something and learn from it, and keep going in the direction that we believe in going, but always valuing the community feedback. And I think we've done that. Now, the more important thing, I think that some things can get lost. The forest and the trees analogy, like we can look at a small detail. Really, what people need to see is that we're moving in a direction towards mass marketing and testing and refining that messaging and getting it to where we want it to be, so that we can have the most effective push for alpha launch, which is what we're gearing up for. And so the forest right now is we're running ads pointing them to our trailer, our pre-alpha trailer, which I think is incredibly powerful. David's working on another one right now that's going to be even better, and it is freaking sick. So we've got these incredible assets that we're pushing the masses to with mass marketing. So we've got ad funnels working, and the customer acquisition cost has been incredible. We're doing really, really well. And you guys, the community, have seen the new people that are coming into our Discord that have discovered us through ad funnels. There's been quite a few, and they're not only just coming into us, but they're going, how do I get a Lace wallet? Well, guess what? We have wallets on the way that are going to be automatically made for any of the mainstream gamers, and that's coming in the next couple of weeks, which is huge. So we have a lot of really, really cool stuff that we've been working on behind the scenes to welcome our mainstream gamers and prepare us for this alpha push. So very exciting stuff. This marketing is all in an effort to move us towards the mainstream gamers, and it's working. So please, people, if we make some mistakes here and there, sure, we're going to make them. But like, don't miss the main freaking success here, which is that we have mainstream gamers coming into the game going, how do I get a wallet? I like what you guys are doing.
Yeah.
That's huge.
I think we have episode 2 of Origin Point coming out.
Freak out and speak from the mountaintops about it. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, we got episode 2 of Origin Point coming out, and that's with Gillian. So we're going to have lots of shorts on that as well. That's all gameplay, and I think that's probably where we missed the mark a little bit. Is those first lots of TikToks really should have had lots of gameplay with them as well. That's definitely what the community pulled up. And as you zoom out and we get more and more episodes, then you'll have more context that it's a game. But yeah, I think where people were right to pull it up is it looked like this. If people see this and this is the first thing they see, there's no real
misrepresentative of who we are.
We're going to address that, but I mean, we're
that's
good for
easy
feedback.
to address, and the consequences were small. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah, there's a great point, and so we'll restructure how that content is delivered, and also, and there's also things that I was looking at with it. It's like it's not just what you're delivering; it's how you're delivering it, and so there's nuance to all of this, and we look at stuff and we hear feedback and we make adjustments.
I think marketing changes all the time, and the marketing that you do for games in 2026 is different from what you would have done in the year 2000 and so on.
Yes, agreed. So that marketing push is also in line with our strategic plans for this year. We're moving towards an alpha launch. That's also what the sale is about. So we are running a sale in a new way that is crafted to appeal to a mainstream gamer that's coming and jumping in to the game. Now, for that launch prep, we're offering it to you guys early in tiered packages at a discount. So for those of you that are involved with us now, and yes, the point of this is fundraising for marketing so that we can have a great alpha launch. It's not inexpensive to do. So we invite you guys to participate. Again, you don't have to if you don't want to. It's your choice. We put together some really fun, appealing packages that I think you guys are gonna. This is totally new. We're doing bundles, and I believe the wallets are actually going to be live when we do this as well. So there'll be bundled packages with different assets, and I'm excited about it because we're introducing the bundles. So new technology that we're building right now. We're just doing a sale in a whole new way. So I'm excited about it. I think you guys will be. If you want to participate, great, please do. It helps us with that marketing push for alpha launch, which is not so far off. So we got amazing things in the works, and you guys get to participate in that with us. And so we thank you for being involved and for all your support. And I'm excited. I wish I could tell you more. It's coming very, very soon. That's all I'll say. Okay. So some infrastructure announcements. Rob, you mentioned some stuff with the nodes. You want to update us on the nodes?
Greg's been working on some updates for the nodes, and he's fixed some issues. So hopefully those have settled down now. We're constantly looking at improving the infrastructure wherever we can. And obviously in the future we're looking at introducing new nodes. And one of those new nodes will be a server node. This will be especially useful for custom domes, where players will be able to host that you need somewhere to host your game. If you want it in multiplayer, if you want it in single player, that's different. But if you want it in multiplayer, you'll want to host it. And this is a great opportunity for the community to host server nodes, and then also charge people to use those nodes. So the charge will be in Rise, in the Rise token. And what we were thinking of this is, rather than introduce a cost for those server nodes to begin with, we will probably give away 50 of these server nodes, probably free, just for testing, because it'll be a while before custom domes go fully live. But there will be requirements for this. So we'll look at giving the server nodes to those people that have existing file nodes and that are running at full capacity. So if you have 10 personal nodes and you're at full capacity, over 40, because people come and go, so you don't necessarily need 50. But if you've got people delegating to you, and we can see that you're running, a successful node, then we'll give you the opportunity, if you're chosen, and we'll give you that free server node in the future. Now there's no dates as to when that server node will start testing and come public. I think it'll be a while, but that's definitely the thoughts. I think that's the best way to start in like a testing phase.
Yeah, agreed. Okay. So Esperanza, internal development. So we're working on Esperanza, as many people know, which is exciting. And we also have the Europe servers that have not had a ton of traffic. So we're going to grab those servers and use them for Esperanza development, shift everybody to the US servers is the current plan. Now, in my mind, it's about strategically using everything possible that we can towards the alpha launch. So we're not really scaling back. We're more of repurposing funds in a direction of the alpha launch, because that's where we're headed, guys. We need to build up as much traction as we can for a successful alpha launch. And I'm talking actually some fun stuff with Regiment Gaming again in about a week when he's back in town. They were interested in working with us. And so we're going to invite a lot of them into the game by doing a backpack. I'm pretty sure he hasn't fully approved it. It's not fully signed off on yet. However, the discussions are there, and he's excited to talk with us again when he gets back in town. So fun stuff there. Okay. Final discussion, the apartments. You want to give us the full details on where we are with the apartments?
Yeah,
Because everybody's excited. But.
Well, there is, in programming, there is many ways to do a certain task. So with the apartments, we claiming the apartments and then setting the apartments up. We tried a certain way, and it wasn't very performant at all. So we had to relook at the infrastructure. We're now pulling a local cache of the database on the server. So rather than just going purely to the cloud, we're coming through here. So it's caused a bit of a delay, because the original plans had to, quite drastically change for performance reasons. So we're still hard at work on that. And it's really important because what we could do, the existing way that we had of sharing apartments, and that code will also be used for land plots, kind of worked. But we do know that in the future we're going to have to revisit it. But the question is, if we don't tackle this problem now, we're going to have to revisit it in the future. Now, do we revisit it in a year from now? Because if we revisit this in a year from now, that's most certainly going to require a wipe of everything that people have done. And people are, some builds that we come, we do wipe data, but this will be, depending where we are in a year from now, that affects an awful lot of people. And we are sensitive, and we do know that we try not to wipe data if we can, but something as personal as your apartment that you may have built up, months and months of putting that together, it's not something that we really want to do. So we are taking our time, and we're trying to get this right at first. And the reason we're paying so much attention into the apartments, because that code also goes towards land plots, but the majority of players that come in, everybody will get an apartment. So the apartment
home base for the players.
It has to.
Mainstream gamers, they don't have a home base. They don't have land necessarily like a lot of you guys have. So there's multiple home bases that you can have, but when we go to mainstream, they're not going to just come in with a piece of land. Anyway, Go ahead.
Yeah, no, that's right, and it's so important because we have to have that local cache working, that is performant for the apartments. Now the apartments in one sense are a lot easier than land plots, because you'll go up to an apartment, you'll go on a floor, and as you go into the apartment, we can load that data in real time, and nobody really gets to see it except for you and maybe some other people that go on there. Now, when we zoom out and we actually look at how that works on the land plots, all those land plots are almost certainly going to be loaded within the vicinity of players, because you're flying over land plots, and as you're flying over them, you're seeing a lot of what people have built up in real time. So there's a lot of data to be drawn in there, more than the apartments. So it's easier to go up in stages. But the apartments will have thousands and thousands of pieces together, whereas land plots are more kind of prefab buildings. So there's different challenges with each. But those apartments as well, there's up to 50,000 that are in each of the global hubs. And so there's a lot of data that's going back into, and it's persistent data as well. If you're in the American server or the European server or the Asian server in the future, you're all seeing the same data. People are coming in. You might be in one server, but you're writing back, and it has to redraw on another. It's
it
super
hasn't really been
complicated.
done in gaming in this way, where you have your own unique space, and there's that many of them, and your own space that nobody else can access. And so we're doing something incredibly innovative here that I don't know that I could say nobody has done it, but not many, and definitely nobody has done it in this way.
No, it's very, very tricky. Yeah. I mean, you get maybe games like The Sims where you're building one or two places up, but that's kind of one or two, or it's kind of single player. Whereas we're looking at 50,000 players in the same server, and then 50,000 apartments, sorry, in the same server. And then when you go into the land plots, we're looking at like 8,000 land plots, and then all the pieces that go together within them. So
A
some
lot of
people,
data.
yeah, we're attacking all these major systems in one game, whereas others, they have different approaches. So it is tricky. So it may cause a little bit of a delay. But fortunately, I don't think that delay is going to be months and months, which normally something like this should take maybe a year or so. I think it might add a few weeks on to where we are, but this software development, so it could go on a little bit more. So it has had a delay, but the thing is, as we talked earlier about all these mini experiences and adding the new recipes in and the quests, and we're adding more and more content in all parts of the game. So okay, one part of the game might be delayed, but we're going to make up for that by adding more features in, and eventually they will all come together. And
Well,
we're
and also
still working
everything's
on the
being done in
riffs.
parallel, so it's nothing to
Yeah.
worry about. So, okay, question for you. Forget the question I was going to ask you. Are we going to be able to use some items? This is from Japper of the Nights. Are we going to be able to use some items from the apartment building kits for our land plots as well?
I think that's quite a tricky question, because a lot of the items that are, and the building tool is built for the apartment. So the majority of those, and I think we've got over now, definitely over 600, 700, probably getting close to maybe like 1,000 assets. I think they are for the apartments. And the reason for that is because we explained before how complicated it is to save all these items, and having 8,000 plots, then all with thousands within them on top of it gets complicated. But the land plots themselves, they'll all be prefab. So I'm sure that some of the assets that we build for apartments will be compatible with both. But I think they'll either have their own set of items, or there'll be like kind of like a Venn diagram where there'll be a small section in the middle that you can use in both. But yeah, I don't think the majority of them will be able to use in both.
Yeah. Okay. So, but yeah, possibly in the future we'll add more and more to that. And you had some questions for me, or at least one question, I think.
Yeah. So from Scooby Doo Bop Bop, is Alpha still expected to launch before Q1 ends, or are we now looking at Q2, Q3? What are all the game components expected to be included? I mean, Q1 ends in few weeks.
Yeah, so definitely not Q1. Timing wise, I'm not going to give an estimate on timing. I'm going to say that we're working hard towards alpha. And the reason I'm not going to estimate on timing is because I want to see how all these systems work together. Rifts, apartments, crafting, questing. How is the game experience at that point, and how are people perceiving it, receiving it? What's the feedback, that sort of thing. So there's an iterative process to alpha launch. We're right now, the goal is we've been building up with the ad funnels. We're getting lots of new people in that have filled out the early access form. What we're going to do is open those gates very, very soon. When wallets are ready, tested, and working well, we're going to open up those gates to the large number of people we have that have filled out the early access form. So you guys will start to see a ton of new people coming into the community, which is great. We want to get their feedback. So we're going to let them in. I'm not exactly sure the date of when we'll let them in. It might be right after we release apartments, because we want them to have like a lot to do and have a home base, probably right around then. But then we want to get feedback from them on that and grow that community, continue to grow and hear feedback, and then release riffs and things of that nature, and see how's it going? What's it feel like? What's the vibe? What's the feedback? What do we want to fix before we do a launch? So all of these are systematically done in preparation for a really successful launch.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's one of these things where if we look at something like GTA 6, which got an initial delay and then it got an entire delay of over a year. The danger is when you do your best estimate, and it really is a best estimate, that if this is a perfect curve, a perfect straight line, and nothing ever goes wrong in software, then that is the date. Because if you don't put a date in the sand, then people's psychologies, they just kind of drift. So you need a date to keep people focused.
100%.
So we have that
you
date.
You need a high pressure date as well that feels urgent. Yeah, you put a too late date. Yeah. People are like, "Oh, I'll get to that because we've got these priorities," and then everything gets delayed. So you got to keep a certain level of pressure, and there's a balance there.
Yeah. So we have that internally, and we also talk about those dates externally as well, because that also keeps us keen. Because there's no point in having it internally, because they can just delay. But then with things like like I say, with the new architecture then for the apartments, and this is when these kind of delays come in, and then they stack on top of each other, and then before you know it, you are in danger of maybe talking about dates a bit too soon, but we really do try to give you the best estimates.
Of course. All right. Next up, you had one more question, I think, for me, and then we're done.
I think this is from the Sunnyvale kid.
Okay.
He or she would like to know, how far after apartment building could we see building on our land?
Well, the systems are being worked on already for both, but what we're going to do is release apartments first, and then next up in the next following build after apartments, ideally we open up the land. So it would just be in the immediate build after. So exactly how far that is partially determined by how well Rift combat and that sort of thing is going, but that's in the works, and we're moving through that, and things are going well. So that's the answer for that.
Because the apartment itself is not, it's not just go and build in your apartment. It's quite a complex system. We've got to give the ability to give away an apartment to the players, and we're not just saying you log in and we're going to allocate an apartment to you. You're actually going to go and claim. You're going to go and look around at what apartments are available and go and claim them in game. So we now have that working. So that's one of the prerequisites of that. And then we talked about this whole building tool of going in that we have to build, and then the loading process. So the apartment is really, really complex. But we're almost ready to start testing that internally now. Well, we are testing some elements of it.
All right. Well, that wraps it up. That's the end of the episode. That's CafeRise. That's CafeRise episode 151. Thank you all for watching. We appreciate you, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Welcome. You're here early, that's good. Means there's something special about you. We got a whole lot going wrong around here. You better train up. We got terrors knocking on our infrastructure, and some mighty strange occurrences going on. I'm afraid our world is at risk. Without people like you, Cornucopias might fall into darkness. Better get smart, get trained, and be ready. The storm is coming. I can feel it. I'd like to say we've been through worse, but this time I'm not so sure. Good luck out there. You're going to need every bit you can get.
Children of the multiverse, you have crossed the veil through the gate to stand with us in Cornucopias. You have my appreciation. I am but a messenger, a guide sent to show you the path that must be walked. But know this, the rifts are only the beginning. What you have seen is but a shadow of what is yet to come. The path ahead is dark, and the cost will be great. For the dangers you face are not born of this world alone, but from beyond it. Some of you will fight the tide, others will build and restore, some will weave knowledge, while others will sustain through trade and creation. Strength, will, and unity, these are the bonds that will endure when all else is broken. Rise now, stand against the tide, for infinity does not end, it begins. Infinity is rising.